The Sports Desk brings you action from the Torrance National FastPitch Softball Tournament. The Lady Tartars host teams from out of state. Might the Lady Saxons be their biggest foe? And on the hardwood, the boys volleyball competition heats up in non-league games. Is South Torrance still unstoppable this season? Bishop Montgomery tries to wear him down. And the Saxons take it to 5 games against the Eagles. In a match that matters, folks. Get fired up because the Sports Desk action starts right now. Hello and welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm Bonnie Prickitt. We have a lot of softball action and we will also go to the hardwood of the volleyball courts. But first, let's get started on some tournament action. The Sports Desk goes over to Wilson Park to check out the Torrance National FastPitch Softball Tournament. But before we get started on checking out the actual play from the diamond, let's take a cruise through Torrance to see who's hanging out where. It all started with visiting for the local hotels and bringing their style of play and a rivalry to the South Bay. The softball teams invited to this tournament were of the highest caliber, coming from the OC and the surrounding states of Arizona and Nevada. During the tournament, there was a chance to not play ball, but have fun at Buffalo Wild Wings. Local Lady Saxons and the hosting Lady Tartars got a chance to relax, but please note, they were not fraternizing as they took a clear line on either side of the restaurant, but they were definitely having fun. We got to see a little bit up close in action from them a little bit later in this show. The tournament began with 16 teams all vying for a spot in the championship game. There were 4 pools of teams with 4 teams each. So if North and Torrance won their pool, they would have a chance to meet in one of the semifinal championship games. Let's take a quick look at a few highlights from one of their early games. The North Saxons would go into this tournament with a 3-1 overall record. They would play 3 games before the playoff bracket. Star pitcher and future Cal State East Bay pitcher Kelsey Cairns leads her teams early in this pool play. And while they would beat up on opponents Rialto and DeMonte Ranch by double digits, the most notable game was the 1-run win over Edison. Brianna Ibarra, sophomore at the plate, knocks this one over the center field fence for a walk-off home run off of pitcher Sammy Cordova out of Edison. They're out of Huntington Beach. Fantastic win. That is probably their highlight early on in the tournament, though. And you will see Brianna Ibarra later on, so don't forget that name. North beat Edison 1-0, and they also beat DeMonte Ranch 10-2, and they would also beat Rialto 13-0. Let's take a quick journey through the Torrance win over Sunny Slope. In that game against Sunny Slope, the Tartars scored in every inning except the 4th and the 7th. Sophomore Jessica Alferez scores Mo Ramirez for the first run of the game. An inning later, starting pitcher Christina Washington is on second, round the bases to score. And the Tartars are up by 5. Sarah Helms is hot in this game, and already after a double, she's going to score. Get ready for her 3rd inning. They're up by 6. Christina Washington is on second base. No, it's not the same play. It looks like it, except that Sarah Helm is going to come in on her 2-run home run. In the 3rd inning, they would go on to win this game 9-1. And let's go ahead and take a look at some other scores. Torrance wins by forfeit on Thursday in a match against El Modena. And they whooped up on Sunny Slope in the highlights you just saw and scooted by Green Valley by a run to advance them in the brackets. And that's it for the tournament results at the moment. But we'll show you how the Lady Saxons and the Lady Tartars meet up in the semifinals. It's a very interesting finish, but we'll go to the hardwood for the boys volleyball prep program. Let's go ahead and take a break.
Each year, thousands of people come to visit the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Many reach out and touch the wall to feel some of the 58,000 names that are etched in black stone. But they were more than names. They were brothers, sons, husbands, and friends. People whose lives had meaning and whose stories deserve to be told. Memories like these are the heart of the Education Center at the Wall. Help us keep these stories alive to honor and remember those who served. The Education Center at the Wall will preserve the images, letters, and stories of those who served so that their lives will never be forgotten. Call or click now and help us build it.
The boys volleyball season is well underway, with the South Spartans looking to be another force in the Pioneer League, but also in the South Bay. In this matchup against Bishop Montgomery, we'll take a look at what the Knights are bringing to the court this season. John Lewis serves us this preseason matchup.
After starting off the season with a win against Beverly Hills, the Bishop Montgomery boys volleyball team has suddenly lost their last 3 games. They'll look to rebound against crosstown rival South, who is 7-3 overall and showing a lot of promise. Let's take you to the highlights.
We take you to game 1, where Bishop Montgomery and freshman middle hitter Wesley Graves would come out strong. Here he'd get the kill and give his team an early 2-1 lead, and he'd be a large portion of the Knights' offense on this day. A few minutes later, South basketball player Garrett Nita shows off the range of his athletic skills by serving up an ace, giving South a 7-4 lead. Number 9 outside hitter for South, Andy Gage, shows off just how hard he can serve, and he'd be dishing ones out similar to this all day long. Then we see number 6, Ross Maddenwald, also getting into the mix with a jump serve that would not be returned back over the net, and South leads 21-14. And right before the end of the first game, a good rally gets into the hands of Andy Gage, who slams it down off the fingertips of Bishop, and South would go on to win game 1, 25-15. Bishop Montgomery head coach Kevin Norman would gather his troops and try to retain their focus going into game 2. It seems to work as Bishop comes out once again strong, with Wesley Graves getting another kill to put his team up 10-8. The Knights and Spartans would rally back and forth in game 2 and be close throughout much of it. Here we see later in game 2, Graves would be added again with a nicely directed hit to confuse South and keep the Knights in it with a 16-15 lead at this point. But the hot hand of Andy Gage would continue to hurt Bishop as he would get another ace here to put South up 19-18. Outside hitter for South, Ross Maddenwald would continue to help his team with another kill to give South the 25-21 game 2 victory. After the match, he talked about his performance.
I felt pretty good. I felt I could have hit harder, Other than that, my passing was pretty good, could have blocked more balls, and other than that, I thought I played pretty well.
Before the start of game 3, the Spartans would huddle up, discuss strategy, and encourage each other not to allow Bishop to creep back into this thing. Game 3 would start out close with a few good rallies that ended up going Bishop's way. Ross Maddenwald would be back at it with another hard hit that falls in and gives the Spartans an 8-5 lead. Teammate Garrett Nita also will continue to impress, seen here with a spike that goes off the hands of Bishop into the crowd. A few points later, Andy Gage would have a monster dish, firing up his teammates, who would lead at this point 21-15. Moments later, Gage would show off his skill set on the other side of the ball. This time he would deliver with a great block that puts his team up 22-15. Gage would talk afterwards about coming out of game 3 strong.
After the first game, we kind of just let up a little bit, and we didn't want to do that. The second game was really close, and we don't want to do that in the third game. We just kind of wanted to put it away and just go as hard as we could.
Bishop would try for a late comeback, but would end up falling short with a hit that goes out of bounds. South would take the game 25-16 and the match 3-0. South head coach Kevin McElwee talks about goals for his team moving forward.
Right now, I'd like us to be more disciplined and focused on doing things right as far as getting ourselves positioned and so on and so forth. Our goals are always the same, which is to win every match.
Thanks, John, for that wrap-up. The Spartans are already dominating with the return of Gage, Maidenwald, Nordell, and company. Look for a deep season run from them. The Knights were led by J.J. Legaspi and Travis Pyrek. They are starting this week with a 2-8 overall record. Stick around. We've got more volleyball after the break.
I'm starting to worry about my boyfriend. One minute he's supportive, the next minute everything is my fault. He says a couple of beers get him in a good mood. His idea of a couple of beers usually turns out to be a lot more than just 1 or 2. and that's when I start to worry. After he's had too many beers, he gets really angry and I become the target. I hate to say it, but he reminds me too much of my last boyfriend. Aren't there any good men out there? My best friend is a social worker. She told me to try Al-Anon family groups so I could understand my feelings better. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to get into another argument with my boyfriend, but I'm glad I went. I'm starting to understand that I didn't cause his anger. I didn't cause his drinking. It's a great relief to hear a new perspective for my problems. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or visit alanonfamilygroups.org.
What if you could ignite your child's love of learning with one after-school program? What if that one program was easy and fun? Destination Imagination is the one. Destination Imagination has taught teamwork, creativity, and problem solving for more than 25 years. A major university study showed our students are ahead of others in creativity and critical thinking. Learn more at startateam.org and make Destination Imagination the one for you.
Welcome back. The North Saxons take on the El Segundo Eagles in a match going to 5 sets. North battles unforced errors, but with Saxon Craig Stock's 16 kills, they might just pull off a win. Brittany Johnson, bring us the story.
We picked this one up in the third set of the match. Both teams hold a match apiece, and with a nice bump, set, and spike by North, they are able to get within 3 of El Segundo. North with the ball again with a chance to put the team within 2. El Segundo tries to take it to their outside hitter, but the Saxons aren't having that. Christian Headland says, "Oh no, not in my house." El Segundo is up 8-6. You know what they say, third time's a charm. The Eagles with a nice pass, set, and tip, but the Saxons were able to read it and stayed in the battle. But the hit from Connor Doyle would be too strong. Maybe third time isn't always such a charm. The ball goes out of bounds, and that's a point for the other team. The soft serve for El Segundo, and Chance was able to get under it for the pass to Christian for the outside hit by Connor. El Segundo able to get a hand on it, and here comes the kill from Bobby, and North doesn't have the answer. El Segundo up by 6. They're going to need a much-needed timeout after that one, Coach. Back on the floor, El Segundo has to serve, and it looks like North drew up a nice little tip in their timeout. But despite making a comeback, Saxons will go on to lose the match, 25-21. Fast forward early on to the 4th match. North up 6-5. Eagles with the outside hit, but the Saxons are right there with a nice pass, set, and Lars trying to kill it. But Bobby says, "That ain't nothing, I'm here for the dig." Nice rally going on, and North tries to end it with the tip from Lars. But the big men are in town for the block. Where is the coverage? Both teams tied at 6. Saxons need this win to force a 5th match. Craig Stock with the serve, and in as easy as 1, 2, 3, North wins the match, 25-23. It's do or die time here in the 5th match. El Segundo with the serve, and Craig answers back with a huge kill. That was just one of his 12 kills for the night. He may have killed it on that play, but they're not killing him on the scoreboard. North down 4. North serves the ball deep into the middle back. Saxons remain calm under pressure though and try to get the kill to stay in the game. It's looking a little crazy right there on El Segundo's side, but they are able to get the ball right back into the middle of the Saxons territory, and there's no one there to cover for the front row. El Segundo goes on to win the game 3-2. I met up with head coach Kevin Gray after the game, and he told me his team had a lot of unforced errors and mistakes on their end that killed their momentum.
When we're not making errors like that, we're a very strong team. A lot of teams will have a hard time beating us if we can make sure we take care of the ball on our end. I'd rather have teams beat us with their power than us lose on our errors.
The mistakes may have killed the team's momentum, but the Saxons fought hard from start to finish.
I will give credit to my boys. They kept fighting back when they needed to, and from playing behind, that's a tough toll to take on their team, and they hung in there. I mean, they stuck with them to the last point of the game.
Though the Saxons lost their league opener against El Segundo today, the coach says they still walk out of the gym with their heads held high and will be better prepared for their game against Centennial. Reporting from North High, I'm Brittany Johnson for the Sports Desk.
Hey, thanks, Brittany, for the story. The first league match wasn't an easy loss for the Saxons, but definitely give Coach Kevin Gray a good measuring stick for the future competition. Craig Stock, Chance Vitale, and Christian Headland led the way for North in this close match. The Pioneer League competition has started with South beating Torrance 3-0. West record stands at about 500, and they begin Bay League play this week against Miracosta. Coming up after this break, the North and Torrance girls softball team gets a chance to work out their rivalry early in an exciting semifinal tournament championship game, and the legend of a Saxon sophomore is just starting. Stick around.
Hey! Ooh. Ooh. Baby Eddie, meet
Baby Maya.
Oh, it's for us.
Your baby's getting text messages?
Yeah, I signed us up for Text for Baby. We get free text messages every week. Look.
A car seat for the hospital. That's a great reminder. How do we sign up?
Text BABY to 511411 and you'll get free health and safety tips every week.
Okay, we're signed up. Look!
That's one smart baby.
Just like her mom.
It's from a place of love that I became an activist. It is just a fabulous area, full of life. It's one of the few areas of temperate old-growth forest left on the planet. In the early 90s, it looked like all of the intact forest would be clear-cut logged, and it was very devastating to think of that possibility. So it was quite a pivotal time right then to take action when we did.
1/3 of the massive Great Bear rainforest will now be protected from all logging. We're talking about an area the size of Switzerland.
Having the Great Bear rainforest protected now really means a lot to our community. I would say we're part of the environment just like the animals are. The greatest thing that I enjoy is seeing a total stranger respect this area. We're hoping that years down the line, this place will still be looking the same as it does right now.
Welcome back. It's not very often that league rivals get a chance to break in a game in the preseason. You know, it's especially good when your league rival isn't someone you can just run over. The two City of Torrance representatives in the Torrance National Tournament ended up in a semifinal championship game, and they both learned a thing or two about the other. Let's jump right to the highlights. You got to see here, Carter on the opposite field. They are visiting this game, and North is in their home dugout. But let's go ahead and start. We're going to be in the bottom of the first. Cameron Watts reaching second on North catcher Alexis Herndon's bobble at first, and she overthrows at first base. Mo Ramirez singles home, awaiting Cameron Watts from second base. Wheels aplenty. Torrance has an early 1-0 lead. Bottom of the fifth, another North error puts Danielle DeCastro in scoring position, and Watts bangs out to the right field, edging North 2-0. Well, looky there, it's the Torrance baseball team cheering on their Lady Tartars. We're still in the fifth, and up next is Jessica Alfaro. She is going to lift the ball past second, skips its way into center field, bringing home again speedy Cameron Watts for the Lady Tartar advantage. It's the bottom of the fifth, and Torrance leads 5-0. But Bria Barra isn't into that and scores Sydney Haleen off of a double that gets to the right fence. She's cutting the Tartar lead by 1. And folks, she's just starting. Ibarra will end up at third base here after senior Jordan Stamp chomps it down the left side foul line for a single. Amber Perez is up and singles to left here, getting the ball past Cameron Watts. She can't scoop it up, and Bree Barra scores. Lady Tartars 5, Lady Saxons 2. Catcher Gabby Fortiani sees Jordan Stamps on second base and brings her home, sending the ball down that left field line, and the gap shortens, and the Saxons are only behind by 3 runs. The Tartars meet on the mound and close out the bottom of the fifth with no more runs scored by the Saxons, and the Saxons starting pitcher Kelsey Cairns managing a solid game, and her defense is stellar right behind her as they close out the Tartar chances in the 6th inning. Last chance for a win. The Lady Saxons lineup set runners on first and second, and it was Bria Barra's homer over the left field wall that gave North a 6-5 win over Torrance. Yes, I promise it was pretty, but the best part is the player of this game coming home in bear hugs surrounded by her teammates. They would go on to beat their league rivals in that semifinal championship game 6-5. Brianna Ibarra 2 for 4 with 4 RBI and a home run, and the winning pitcher is Kelsey Cairns. And Cameron Watts had a double and two runs actually, and Letzi Pont a home run in that game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other final game as well. We have the Lady Tartars win up against an unbelievably talented ranked nationally team in the Norco Cougars. 7 of their players are slotted for Division I scholarships. The Lady Saxons would lose 8-0 in the Mercy Rule in the 5th. Kelsey Cairns and Jordan Stamps earned all tournament honors as well. The Lady Tartars rebounded nicely from the loss to the Saxons with an exciting 10-2 win over Foothill for the 3rd place spot in the tournament. The Torrance tournament wasn't the only bit of softball happening last week. South is not. Please note the word not looking to be a sleeper in the Pioneer League at all this year, especially after a big win over West and the Bay League's Palos Verdes. The Knights are looking to make some early noise at the Whittier Christian tournament, and they did, beating Montebello by a run and pounding Ramona Covenant 6-1. In prep baseball, South and Torrance go into this week at exactly 500. North is impressive at 8-4. West is hovering at 6-5, and the Knights are looking for a 3rd win as they play LaSalle this week. We'll have more prep baseball coverage for you next week, but right now is the time for you to tell us something we don't already know. Take a look at the information on your screen. You can always contact us at 310-618-5762. You can email us at thesportsdesk@torranceca.gov. You can view all of our shows online at torranceca.gov. And to check out full coverage of the Torrance National Championship game, be sure and check out our sister station, Channel 22, where you will see the Norco Cougars taking on the Lady Saxons. So until next time, Torrance, play hard.